Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup. The major stories in the weekend. I'm Tunde Alabi and thank you for being part of it. US President Barack Obama and British Prime Minister David Cameron have vowed to get tough on Islamist extremists and their ideology in a major response to further express their support and solidarity with France in the wake of the Charlie Hebdo attack. Obama and Cameron said that extremists will not be allowed to muzzle freedom of speech.
I want to begin by saying just a few words about the tragic events that we've watched unfold in France over the last several hours and days. And because events have been fast-moving this morning, I want to make sure to comment on them. I just spoke to my counterterrorism advisor. We have been in close touch with the French government throughout this tragedy. The moment that the outrageous attack took place, we directed all of our law enforcement and counterintelligence operations to provide whatever support that our ally needs in confronting this challenge. We're hopeful that the immediate threat is now resolved, thanks to the courage and professionalism of the French personnel on the ground. But the French government continues to face the threat of terrorism and has to remain vigilant. The situation is fluid. President Hollande's made it clear that they're going to do whatever is necessary to protect their people. And I think it's important for us to understand France is our oldest ally. I want the people of France to know that the United States stands with you today, stands with you tomorrow. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families who've been directly impacted. We grieve with you. We fight alongside you to uphold our values, the values that we share, universal values that bind us together as friends and as allies. And in the streets of Paris, the world's seen once again what terrorists stand for. They have nothing to offer but hatred and human suffering. And we stand for freedom and hope and the dignity of all human beings. And that's what the city of Paris represents to the world. And that spirit will endure forever, long after the scourge of terrorism is banished from this world.
Well, first of all, on our security, we already have the state of alert at its second highest level, at the level of severe, which means we believe an attack is likely. These levels are set independently by the Joint Terrorism Assessment Centre, not by politicians. So I think that's the appropriate level, and steps are being taken in line with that to make sure that we're always taking every precaution that we can to keep our country safe. And that means action by the security services and by the police. But of course, we all in our own lives have to be vigilant as well. In terms of values, this clearly is a challenge to the values of free speech, freedom of expression, democracy, tolerance that we believe in. And the best way to stand up for those values is to repeat our belief in them and to demonstrate that whatever terrorists like this do, we will never be pushed off the path of a belief in freedom, democracy and the rule of law and the things that make us proud of our country, our society and our democracy in our country. They will not change the way that we live and the way that we work, and those things we hold dear. In terms of our media, it's not for me to argue what the media should and shouldn't do. I would argue that here in Britain we have a very vibrant, very disputatious, argumentative, free, inquiring, campaigning press, whether that's television, radio, and also newspapers, but of course the internet, which is giving more people greater freedom of expression. I think that's something to be celebrated and something we should be proud of. But it's not for me to say how those people should exercise their rights. It's for them to, within the bounds of the law, always of course, but to stand up for the freedom we hold so dear.
The two leaders stated that the world will confront extremism and defeat it. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister has condemned the UK leader Nigel Farage for wanting to gain cheap political points on the back of the bloody Charlie Hebdo killing in France.
I'm dismayed, really, that Nigel Farage immediately thinks, on the back of the bloody murders that we saw on the streets of Paris yesterday, that his first reflex is to seek to make, political points. Let's remember, if this does come down to, and we've touched on this already in response to Omar's question and indeed Nigel Farage's assertions, if this does come down, as it appears to be the case, to two individuals who've perverted the cause of Islam to their own bloody ends, let's remember the greatest antidote to the perversion of that great world religion, Islam, are law-abiding British Muslims themselves. And to immediately somehow suggest that somehow, or to imply that many British Muslims, who I know feel fervently British but also are very proud of their Muslim faith, are somehow part of the problem rather than part of the solution.
The U.S. President Barack Obama has assured Americans of his government's commitment to making life better for the people, even as he has only 2 more years left as the U.S. President.
As a country, we fought through the worst financial crisis and recession in our lifetimes, but the American people showed a lot of resilience and resolve. And there is no doubt about it, thanks to the steps that we took early to rescue the economy, to rebuild it on a new foundation, America's coming back. You know, last year was the strongest year for job growth since the 1990s. Unemployment fell in 2014 faster than any year since 1984. Our businesses have created more than 11 million jobs in the last 58 straight months. That's the longest stretch of private sector job growth in American history. Since 2010, America's put more people back to work than Europe, Japan, and every other advanced economy combined. And, you know, a lot of folks talk about some of the jobs are being created in the service sector. They're not paying as much. The truth is, American manufacturing is in its best stretch of job growth since the 1990s. Manufacturing is actually growing faster than the rest of the economy. Meanwhile, America is now the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world. And by the way, you're saving about $1.20 a gallon at the pump over this time last year. So these past 6 years, we're trying, demanded a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice on everybody's part. But as a country, we have a right to be proud about what we've got to show for it. America's resurgence is real, and we're better positioned than any country on earth to succeed in the 21st century. Now, on Tuesday, I'm going to deliver my State of the Union address, and in my speech, I'm going to focus on how we can build on the progress we've already made and help more Americans feel that resurgence in their daily lives with higher wages and rising incomes and growing our middle class. But since I only got 2 years in office left, I'm kind of in a rush, so I didn't want to wait till the State of the Union to share some of my ideas and some of my plans. I've been traveling across the country, rolling out some of these ideas. Plans to help more families afford a home. Plans to make more students can attend community college without loading up with debt. Plans to make more workers find good jobs in high-tech manufacturing. And in the 21st century, in this age of innovation and in technology, so much of the prosperity that we're striving for, so many of the jobs that we want to create depend on our digital economy. Depends on our ability to connect and to shop and to do business and discover and learn online in cyberspace. So this week I've been laying out new proposals on how we can keep seizing these opportunities in this information age while at the same time protecting our security and our privacy and our prosperity and our values. On Monday, I announced new steps to protect American consumers from identity theft and make sure that your privacy is protected.
The 3 political leaders in the United Kingdom have written to David Cameron saying it will be unacceptable for the Prime Minister to refuse to appear in the televised debates. The Labour leader Ed Miliband has accused the Prime Minister of running scared of televised debates ahead of the general elections. The Prime Minister has said that he will not be part of the televised debate if the Green Party is not included.
You cannot have 2 minor parties without the 3rd minor party. So I put the question to him, why is he so frightened of debating the Green Party?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'll debate anyone the broadcasters invite. But the man who said it will be feeble to back out of the debates was him. Now we all understand that as long ago as last Thursday, his abiding passion was to give the Green Party a platform. But it is frankly a pathetic excuse. It's not for him. It's not for him. It's not for him. It's not for me. It's not for any party leader to decide who is in the debates. It's up to the broadcasters. That's the country we live in. Now, is he really telling the people of Britain that he's going to seek to deny them the TV debates if he doesn't get to choose who's in them?
We had a set of European elections this year, and UKIP and the Greens both beat the Liberal Democrats, I'm afraid to say. And you either have... it's very simple. You either have both of them or you have none of them. So let me ask him again. Why is he so chicken when it comes to the Greens?
Mr. Speaker, there's only one person running scared of these debates, and that's this Prime Minister.
Meanwhile, both Nigel Farage of the UKIP and Nick Clegg of the Liberal Democrats have urged the broadcasters to go ahead if the Prime Minister refused to be part of the debate. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has said at least 7 million internally displaced and refugee children are in desperate need of assistance as bitter winter snows and torrential rains continue to batter the Middle East. Describing the condition the refugees are, UNICEF said that children live in tents, unfinished buildings and inadequate shelters. It said that more and more children are being exposed to sub-zero temperatures, heavy snow and strong winds. Asking for support, UNICEF said that the condition leaves the children vulnerable to respiratory tract infections and other illnesses associated with cold weather.
Beyond the 1.9 million IDPs and the 225,000 refugees, about 300 to 500 more refugees arriving daily in northern Iraq from the city of and the region of Kobani in Syria. And we're deeply concerned about our ability to meet urgent winter needs there.
A kind of schedule that within the coming 5 days until Sunday, we will be visiting about 1,200 ITS, informal tented settlement, to provide the emergency health care and medications for acute diseases.
The prevailing harsh winter and snowstorm has created untold mysteries amongst the displaced population. There are over 1.7 million Syrian refugees, both in Lebanon and in Turkey. From politics to economy, business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on this bunch. We give you the information that you need, from business to economy, to politics, to technology. And that's what we do here on this bunch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why we are here. Keep watching this bunch from Ben Television. And today, I'll be your host. This is all we have for you on News Roundup today. My name is Tunde Alabi, and thank you for being part of it. Bye.